Oh my gosh, how are you?
J-Mac, how the hell are you?
Good, buddy. What's going on?
So much. And you too, I hope.
I hope. Yeah, it's been stressful building the team and then getting it's just the four pillars. Right, there's a ton of detail, and when you got to build out every pillar. So we have one pillar up and running, the inbound pillar. That whole process has been fine tuned out, and we're running. We're sitting at like 45 sales so far this month. So that's awesome. Love to be at 90, obviously, but 45 is the first steps there. I was just making calls, so I got my headset. I just realized I got my headset on. Sorry about that.
That's great. You're making calls. That's great. No, that's cool.
Yeah, I like to get into calls and stuff like that. And then we're starting with the new company for marketing stuff in another or tomorrow. We have our second meeting with them tomorrow for outreach for outbound, and then just filling out the team and then getting all the details established so I can have a nice sales event with them late April. So
Sweet. You are doing a lot.
yeah, I
Jesus.
feel like I'm ignoring you, but you know what I mean, because I haven't really dove in, and but I put it as one of my goals this year is to get the playbook done. You know what I mean? So I get that thing
Good.
done.
Well, the
But
good news is, so I gave it, AJ Winter was the first person who did it in the new Claude system.
okay,
And there's some stuff didn't quite come through because I made, instead of going through the playbook generator, I built a playbook generator. So you can then just fill out a couple of questions, and it then generates the playbook for you with everything. So you can at least be like, okay, this is 75% of where I need it, because like AI did a lot of the lifting, and then you can sort of just fill out the remaining 25 over time. So I just got the first test back, and it's not quite right.
okay,
So more to come, but even more to come after that, because I'm also building basically by accident like a whole like software to run your team, which would be like the playbook, scorecards, one-on-ones, pipe review, everything, leaderboards will be in there. So a lot more to come. So don't stress
that's
it.
awesome.
I think that what I even said to you from the beginning is, I think that in the beginning of this, you're going to be using me more as an advisor of like, hey, what do I do here? Does this make sense as a benchmark?
Yeah.
So feel free to use me more that way too.
Okay.
Like throwing shit my way.
Hey, quick question about the quad thing. The link that you sent me, I didn't get to it. It expired. Should I wait? Sounds like you're. Yeah, it said.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't know it even could expire. So okay. But yeah, just wait.
Okay.
All right. They got more coming.
Cool. You like Sugarbush?
Yes, Sugarbush Mountain. This is where I go, where I ski for the most part.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah. What about you? Do you ski? You ski?
I barely at all. But I went to UVM, so lots of friends with skiing and.
You're like, yo, it's like fucking smoke. I don't know, but yeah, I'm only kidding. But also,
yeah, I went to UVM. Yes, that's a fair assumption.
Very fair. All right, Jimmy B, how you doing? You all right?
Yes, sir. How we doing today?
But never been better. All right. So the last two sessions we have been talking a ton about strategy and decision making. So we talked through for anybody who hasn't seen this, by the way, last time I went through this, we ended up going down a rabbit hole, but we're going to keep this tight today. So you guys can take this, feel free to add it to your HQ doc if you'd like. But what this is, here, let me just do this. What we were talking about is if you have to make a big strategic move, it might be a new market, new source of leads, new activities you want the team to do, new process you want the team to do, a new price you want to sell, or new team. In there, you can, with every decision you can make, there's a quantity decision, a quality decision, or a distributions decision that you can decide on. We got to do more of something, less of something, a better at the thing we're already doing, or we need to redistribute our focus to do a little more of this, a little less of this, a little better of this, a little less good. So what I put here is, if you know that you want to make a change for market, source, activities, it sort of gives you a little mind map of what you could do. But the other thing for strategy is this. So when you think about strategy, you want to go, what is the issue? We need more sales, revenue, people, whatever. What is the core issue? The core issue is what you think the answer is, plus why that's not happening now. Meaning, I think the answer is leads are down because reps don't make calls, and they don't make calls because they don't see value in making calls. Or I think our issue is we don't have enough reps in the team. And the reason we don't have enough reps in the team is that's your core issue. Too often we solve the high level issue, make more calls, and not the core issue. So once you have the core issue, you can then think about your action item. You can then think through the risks. And here I've got basically a formula to help you figure out what are the risks. The risks are the reasons that the idea you had won't work. The reasons are the idea you had, you don't actually do it. Or the reasons why, if you did the idea, other shit might suffer. Oh, I'm going to make the team sell more. Oh shit. But if we do that, then we're going to not focus on this other project. The adaptive action plan is just your action plan plus considering your solutions to these risks. And the milestone is your outcome by date. So this is what we ultimately got to after talking about pivot tables, trend analysis, looking at different variables to identify where there's issues within the business. Happy to field any questions or additional clarity or anything as it relates to this stuff. Lee, can I give you some feedback?
Yes, sir. And I know what you're going to say. I apologize.
Apologize.
Oh,
Wait, what do you think I'm going to say?
I thought you were going to say I looked distracted because I was trying to wrap something up.
No. Isn't that funny how that works? No, I wanted to say when you schedule a one-on-one time with me, and in your situation, you are scheduling one-on-one time to go through pivot tables to really understand it. You now took a 30-minute meeting where you were like, I get this conceptually, added the 30-minute meeting, and now you have a brand new skill that you're going to be using for the next 30 years. Pivot table stuff. So thank you for doing that because it's going to help you do so many cool new things. All right, sweet. Caleb, so now today what we're going to talk about is forecasting. So you do not need to forecast the way I'm going to show you here. However, so let me start by saying the philosophy behind the forecasting so that you might think of a way that you want to forecast it within your business. Like James, I know your shit's super complicated with like, it's this year, it's next year, whatever. Other businesses I know that are complicated where it's like, well, we charge like a software fee, but then there's like a transaction fee. We have no idea how many transactions they're going to have. So you might even think about it a different way. However, there are 5 ways that I think about forecasting. The first way is I want an overall forecast based on pipeline or one number, So for example, I work with one company where they're like, we know a rep can bring in $1 million. Okay. So you could forecast by saying 10 reps, 10 million. It's a simple one. For us, it might be pipeline. We know that our win rate is 33.33%. Therefore, we have $1 million in pipeline. We are probably going to close $333,333.33. So you can think, is there a single number that can give us general accuracy? Okay. But I'm going to say it on pipeline. So we have $1 million in pipeline. Therefore, my forecast is $300,000 because our win rate is 30%. Okay. The other is weighted forecasting. So instead of just being like, we got $100,000, we got $1 million, therefore 300,000 comes in. Let's weight that $1 million according to how much is in a certain stage or according to how much is in a certain forecast category. Again, to zoom out in your business, if you don't think about things like forecast categories or stages, this could be weighted by region. Hey, we know the deals in this region close at are like way higher rate. So even though we have $1 million in revenue, $1 million in pipeline, 500,000 of it is in the East Coast, 500,000 of it is in the West Coast. The East Coast win rate is 50%. So I got to get 250K. I'm going to forecast from the East Coast, and the West Coast win rate is 20%. So I think I'm going to have 100,000 in the West Coast. Now my forecast is 350,000. Overall win rate pipeline is X. I'm going to say 300,000. Weighted based on, in the hypothetical example, geo or forecast categories or stages. So if you're thinking right now, I'm like, I want to get better at forecast. I'm on this call to learn about forecasting. I want to get better at forecasting. My first question to you, I'm not asking out loud, but you want to write it down or think about it, is what is the one number that you can use to forecast off of, such as pipeline or number of reps or number of deals? Next, what are the 2 things you could do a weighted forecast on? Meaning maybe it's region, rep tenure. We got reps that are seniors. They're how much of the revenue is, how much of the pipeline is in the rep seniors pipeline versus a rep brand new pipeline. Could be forecast category, could be stage. So what is that one, or what are those two ways you can do it that's weighted? The next thing I do is I do an average of those. So I'm like, hey, so what this allows me to do is when I give a forecast, I'm going to forecast my number, and then I'm going to give a best case scenario and a worst case scenario. So I'm like, yo, we're going to do $400 this month. Best case, might get as high as 1,000. Worst case, we get as low as 60. But I feel pretty confident in this 370. So those are the first three ways that I forecast: unweighted, weighted, average. Next way that I forecast is, okay, so you've got the forecast in. Next way that I forecast is like monthly optimization. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in what we actually did. Now I can see how accurate was this forecast, this forecast, this forecast, this forecast. And I'm going to continue to do that each month for a couple of months. For those of you playing along, whatever, that's fine. Now, let's say it's been a month or two, maybe even not, it doesn't matter. Next month, when I go to forecast, I'm going to forecast like this. Put in, I'm doing it total pipeline, weighted pipeline 1, weighted pipeline 2, which gives me my forecast based on pipeline, weighted pipeline 1, weighted pipeline 2, average. Okay. And now next month, let's pretend this is next month. Next month, I'm going to say, hey, my forecast here is 57. However, this is typically 97% off. So actually my forecast, I think the math is right, is 2,000. This divided by this equals my actual forecast. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to say, now I might go to my boss and I'm going to go, hey, my forecast is 2,000. My worst case scenario is probably closer to around, I don't know, $400. It's worst case, but I feel very confident in this 2,000. And then when the month ends, and let's say I'm going to come out here and here's what we actually did. This will update again of like how accurate was I, and I'm going to do the same thing. Next month, here's my forecast. I'm going to divide it by how accurate the previous forecast was for this category, so that I now have a perfect forecast. So now when someone's like, how do you forecast? I'm like, I forecast in 4 ways: pipeline, weighted pipeline, average of those 2, accuracy of all 4. Accuracy of all 3. And my insurance policy on that whole thing is I run pipeline reviews to make sure that all the stuff that's in the CRM is accurate. Some of the best.
Quick question.
Explain that. Go ahead.
Definitely following all the steps. I must have missed the part where does the accuracy percent come from?
Yep. So accuracy percent, I'm putting in my actual. So I'm saying the accuracy percent is what you forecasted divided by what actually happened.
Got it. Okay.
So I said we're
that
going to forecast 100, actual 500, accuracy equals 1 divided by that, 20% accurate. So in the future, if my forecast says 500, I'm going to forecast 500 divided by how accurate that forecast typically is. Cool. One other element I'm going to bring to you guys. If you guys run a very transactional business and they are asking you, you might need to forecast for the end of the month in the first week of the month, but there's a bunch of stuff that's not even in your pipeline, right? Like here's what we have going in our pipeline. I've got whatever, however much money's in my pipeline. However, we are probably going to close 30 or 40 deals that don't currently exist in week 1. I don't know when they're going to exist. I have no idea. So what I do is the exact same thing that I showed you here with the actual, but here's what I do this. And so imagine here. So I will each week put in what the average said. And then at the end of the month, here, let me just do this because it'll be easier for you to see it. At the end of the month, in addition to being able to see the forecast, my general forecast, I can be like, what was my forecast in week 1? What was my forecast in week 2, in week 3, in week 4? How accurate is week 1? How accurate is week 2? How accurate is week 3? How accurate is week 4? So that way, when I say, hey, based on our current pipeline and our current stages, we are forecasting $10,000 to come in this month. However, there's an unknown amount of new business that's going to come in. We haven't created the pipeline yet. That's unacceptable. What you would say instead is, hey, based on the pipeline we have and the average and the weighted pipeline, we are going to do, it's week 1. We're going to do $10,000 by the end of the month. However, this week, like my week 1 forecast in the first week of the month is typically way off. So actually, I'm forecasting $20,000. Mike, where's that extra 10 grand coming from? I don't know. But I do know that every month for the last X number of months, whatever I said we're going to do in week 1 was 10% of what actually came in. So instead of just what we've been doing here is I'm saying, like, at the end of the month, how accurate were these things? I'm basically doing the exact same thing, but going at the end of each week, how accurate were these things? So that when I do give my weekly forecast, it's taking into consideration how accurate I am in general, and then even further, and at this point in the month, how accurate I am. Picking up what I'm putting down here, boys. Thank you. Cool. That's forecasting. So in here, what I have built that you have access to is, you want to go ahead, Nick?
How often do you reforecast, or is it usually a derivative of a client or a boss that's saying, hey, I think we need to run a rolling, TTM 14-month forecast for the rest of the year because I think we're off, where we're at.
Yep. So to answer your question directly, once a year, middle of the year is the only time that I reforecast, but typically right at the start of H2 is a reforecast. And then outside of that, it's only if like something crazy is happening. Like we need to reforecast, like our top rep just left. We got to reforecast today because it's going to really fuck things up. Otherwise, it's only once per year. However, you're using the word forecast a little differently than I'm talking about. So there's the forecasting of, like, I would call what you're saying forecasting as planning.
Right.
Like our plan is to hit $1 billion and we're going to do $100,000 a month or whatever. That's the plan. And so I would reforecast the plan according to where we're at about June or July. What I'm talking about here is more like, I have to provide my boss with the forecast of like what's going to come in this month. They're just like, how much revenue we're going to make in January.
I got you. Okay.
Like, what's your goal? What's your goal in December? Like, I don't have any fucking idea what we're going to close in December. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm like, okay, it's April 15th. I'm forecasting for the month of April, 85 grand.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Cool. So the way that I have this set up, if you guys want to use this as your template, is remember how before I was like, you put in the actual and then you check it in for a couple of months and then eventually you'll see like how accurate each of these forecasts is. So the way that I have it set up is like you do for 8 weeks. 8 weeks, you put in how much money is in commit, how much money is in best case, how much money is in upside, how much money is in each stage. Or in your case, you may be doing not whatever weighted things you think are important. And then at the end, in this week, how much money closed one that was previously in commit or best case or upside or whatever. This then will calculate what your forecast weighting should be for each of these things. Like most times with these stages and stuff or forecast categories, people are like, commit is like 80%. I feel like best case is like, I don't know, like 40% or like whatever. And that's how weightings are done. Or somebody gets HubSpot and they go, oh, HubSpot auto tells you how much the percent win rate, we should be forecasting on based on stage. And I'm like, is that historically accurate? No, it's just what we think. So what you can do is go, hey, for the last 8 weeks, I've tracked this every week. And I now know that 24% of the time when a deal is in commit, it closes. 11% of the time when it's in, it closes. Okay. Therefore, when you go and you do your forecast in the future, after doing this little calibrating time period, you can feel more accurate that these numbers will come out right because it's based on historicals. But Mike, I don't want to fucking do that. That's really annoying. But I do like your template. Sick. So what you can do is you can just hard code this shit in. So if you want to cheat code it, come in here and you say, what is your win rate? Put that here. You say, what do you think the win rate is for commit, for best case, for upside? Put that here. You say, what do you think is the forecast? What do you think is the win rate for deals here? This will auto update because it's just an average. And now when you do it, it will just multiply everything by the same legend. So you can either fuck with the legend or you can get the calibrating right, do the calibrating so that it updates the ledger for you. Hard code it or let 8 weeks go by and then it will hard code it. Do you feel? Okay, sweet. However, now I want to go over to your thing. Cool. Nick, forecasting for you. This is the People Hub W2 plan leader section. Okay. So in here, what I allow you to do is you go, my CEO said that our goal was $5 million. Currently, we've closed 2 million. You have to put in our sales cycle. So typical number of weeks we'll say is like month and a half. We'll say it's currently fucking September. So I know with the pipeline and stuff, we probably have another like 500K coming in. We're doing about 20 leads a month. Our win rate averages out to around 10K. Our deal size is around 20K. So this tells me that based on that, we're going to do only 2.5 million, which we just double check something. Oh no, the calculator's broken. No. 199. Did it work here? And then I just broke that one calculator. Goal is 250. Yeah, cool. Good. I don't know why this was not updating. So here, if you here, so my goal is $5 million. We currently have 2 million closed. It's in months. I don't know why. Oh, that's typically takes us, fine. 2 months to close. Let's see, 1.5 months to close a deal. It's currently month. Oh, that's why this is fucked up. I'm an idiot. Let me do it this way. You fucking moron. This is if you operate monthly, quarterly, annually. So let's say it's your annual plan. $5 million. Sorry. We closed 2 million. Takes an average of 1.5 months. It's currently September. I know I've got another 500 coming in. We get 20 leads a month, 10% win rate, 20K average deal size. We're going to hit 2.6. So what I can do here now, just like in the sales rep W2 plan, I can run some different scenarios. I can do the same thing here and go, oh, fuck. Well, I got to hit 5. All right. How do we do it? I can kind of fuck around with shit here. I can't mess with this. That's already happened. What if that other big deal comes in? All right. If I can get the leads up 20%, I think I can get our win rate up also. End of the year, our win rate typically goes up. We'll call it 15%. I'm going to put a new thing that says they can't discount lower than 25K. It gets me to 3. All right. That's all I can probably do this year. I don't know if I can do much more than that. Now I'm going to go to my boss and say, hey, I think we need to reforecast. We're going to get to 3 million. Go tell your investors. You with me, Nikki?
I am. I'm looking for it. I'm in. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Where is it again?
People Hub W2 plan.
Okay.
And then when you get here, there's reps and leaders. You want leaders.
Gotcha.
Cool. And then don't look at monthly or quarterly. Just go to the one that's operating annually.
Okay.
And so
when I'm looking at the leaders, it's not giving me the whole thing.
Is there a little thing up here though? Little plus minus button situation.
Oh, I see. You're making it fancy.
Yep. Super fancy.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. I'm on
Cool.
it.
So go in there, and then the idea is you're going to go to your boss and you're going to put this info in, and then you're going to say, "Oh shit, it only gets me to 3." You can mess around with any of these numbers as much as you want to try to make. You can't mess with like what month of the year it is, but you can mess with like, what if I increase that? And then if you do make any changes here, what are those changes? Like, how are you going to increase the leads? How are you going to increase the win rate? How are you going to increase the deal size? So when you go to your boss, you're like, yo, we're going to do 3. And that 3 is only because I'm going to do this, this, and this. And that's going to increase this, this, and this. That's how we get there. So don't even try to tell me we're going to do 4. Like I'm already doing as much as I possibly can just to get us to 3.
Gotcha.
What is the number and how do we get to that number? All right. That's forecasting, fellas. Kiss you all. Good night. Love you. See ya.
Peace.